Are you feeling lost in your 20s? Do you feel like you don't know what you want to do professionally? Do you just feel stuck? This video might be for you. Hello everyone, I am Brenda Myrtle, and here on my channel I drop videos every week helping you pursue entrepreneurship and self-development, that personal growth to maximize and diversify your income earning potential so you can live a more sustaining and just an all-round balanced life. As always, I'm gonna put the timestamps in the description box below because I know how valuable your time is. You already know why you're here, so let's get into it. Are you feeling lost in your 20s? I'm going to give you 10 points today for advice that I wish I had in my 20s. And today I'm going to be focusing mainly on your professional life in your 20s, not your general life, not dating. We're going to cover those in other videos. But I just wanted to give you 10 pieces of advice that are older people verified for my own life, and just things that I wish I knew in my 20s, specifically related to your professional life, and the things you can start doing today to have a better outcome than even I had. The first one is, I would say you should focus on building your skills and not just titles in jobs, right? I remember when I graduated from school and it almost felt like it's not possible to graduate with an accounting degree and not work at an accounting firm. It was like you failed if you didn't work in an accounting firm. It was also not accepted to graduate with an accounting degree and not become a CPA or a CMA or a CFA. Those were the three options back in the day. And it almost felt, at least for me, as though I had failed because I didn't take one of those paths. I did try to do my CPA, but I didn't finish it. But I just found that, like, as a younger person, that became the goal, that became the drive. It felt like that was the only path to succeed with my accounting degree. So the first one is just to say, focus on building your skills and not just the titles. Like, I know CPAs who don't have other professional skills. I know people who pursue the CFA, CMA, but they don't have other skills. So don't just chase job titles or positions. Instead, focus on like acquiring valuable skills that will serve you in the long run. These skills that will open more doors than your titles ever could. I know that in certain environments, people hire for character more than they hire for skills, for education, for the stuff that you have on your resume. People hire based on how they felt in an interview. So I would say the first thing is to focus on building skills and not so much titles. And to this point, I just want to add that you can find yourself accepting a title that seems beneath you, where you're going to cultivate a lot of skills that you wouldn't have had if you had a title that you thought was worthy of you. And the second one is network early and build relationships. Now, in current times, I know that this sounds easier than it is in the practical world, but I just want to say, after you leave school, that's it, bro. Like, after university, making connections, friendships, finding new people is super hard. Like, I'm speaking out of experience. And I think what it is like my brother would say, it's maths, right? Just think of the mathematics of it all. When you're in uni, you have access to a huge number of people, a huge crowd every single day. So you can take your pick of the people you want to be around, the networking that you want to build, who you consider a close friend and who isn't. But once you leave uni, every other pool you find yourself in is going to be smaller. So networking isn't just about meeting people in your industry. It's about creating genuine long-term connections that are going to last a lifetime. It's about creating connections with no intention to benefit. And in those kinds of relationships, the benefits are by far more by default. Like, you get them regardless, right? It's about creating genuine long-term connections connections. So invest time in building relationships, not just collecting business cards, not just, thinking of networking when you need something, like when you go to job fairs. Think of life in your 20s as a networking drill every single time you're around people, okay? I feel like that will save you time, it will save you energy, it will just make things more worth it for you. The third one is take risks while you have the time. Your 20s are like the best time to experiment with your career path and take risks. Now, I'm not saying you should choose 20 to 30 different majors in school when you're in uni. I'm not saying you should change your major every semester because you're gonna be in school forever. What I'm saying is explore other opportunities, whether it's starting a business or starting that blog or starting that YouTube channel, whether it's moving to a new city, whether it's doing an exchange program where you get to do a semester abroad, but you don't really break the chain of your studies of your degree. Like, you have to weigh those options, but always take the chances that give you another opportunity, right? You have fewer obligations when you're in your 20s, and it's easy for you to recover from like failures, be it financially, be it just if you make a wrong decision, you can easily course correct. This isn't true the older you get, promise me. I promise you, the older you get, it's harder to recover from failures. Every small decision, not taking that job offer, costs you a lot, right? I know we always have chances, but when you're younger, you just have more time to expand. So take risks. The next one is learn how to manage your money. And if you're at this stage of this channel, I'll suggest you watch this video that I posted about 7 money mistakes that we're making every single day. And I'm gonna do a video on finances for students only, just because there's so much that I wish somebody had told me earlier on as an immigrant that I kind of found out when it was too late, okay? So you understanding your personal finance and how to manage your money earlier on, even when you don't have an income, is gonna give you more freedom to pursue your goals later in life. So what does that mean? Like, a lot of us say, oh, you know what? Adulting is boring. I'm not going to rush into adulting. I want to stay young forever. It's nice to say in a playful way. However, when it comes to real life, you have to kind of watch that. And by that, what do I mean? I mean, like, you should start saving early, start investing early, start investing wisely, try to avoid debt early. Like, that excuse doesn't last the older you get. The older you get, nobody wants to hear it. The older you get, your consequences become yours. Right now, maybe if you make a mistake, you have somebody else to lean on in your 20s. The older you get, that is no longer the case, okay? The next one is don't compare your journey to others. Everyone's career path is different. Now, I'm gonna zoom in and repeat myself. Don't compare your journey to others. Everyone's career path is different. And I have so many examples for this one, but I remember in uni, even in some classes, just spring break alone, after spring break, you could hear like every student had a different story, and you could just see the disparity in people's backgrounds just by their spring break experience alone. Just listen to people's spring break stories and it will just make you understand that everybody's life is different. So resist the urge to compare, like learn that lesson early, because every time you feel down when you're comparing yourself to other people, you're setting yourself back 2 or 3 times the amount of down you feel. What do I mean by that? It's one thing to feel down for a day. Once it gets into your head, it could last a month. And what that does is it spills into the things that you want to do for yourself, right? Because you don't have the motivation, you don't have the feeling to keep going and to keep doing things for yourself because you're stuck in comparison. So resist the urge to compare your progress to your peers, as that kind of stuff leads to obviously bad decisions, anxiety, stress, unnecessary conflict, and it eats at your spirit, it eats at your soul, it eats at who you are, right? So focus on your own goals and your own growth. And I intend to dive deeper into things like this in my podcast, so make sure you stay tuned. The podcast is coming out soon. The next one is be open to pivoting your career, and that will just keep your mind open to possibilities, because the likelihood of what you think you're going to do becoming what you actually do is almost zero. And what do I mean by that? I'm not saying your dreams won't come true. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a lot of times we go into education expecting one thing, and the way it ends up is not how we wanted it to end up. It's not what we thought. Life just happens. Sometimes you find yourself in your third year of your education and the career path you wanted to take is not what it is. So just be open to changing industries and jobs. One thing that I'm very, very passionate about is researching the industry you're trying to get into even before you finish school, instead of waiting till the end of school and then doing the research and finding out that either what you studied is not marketable, either the income bracket for people who graduated in that field doesn't match exactly what you're looking for, what you're seeking to have for yourself. So doing that research is super important. And just be open to changing industries, jobs, or careers if new opportunities align better with your evolving passions and your strengths, right? And if you're enjoying this video, please like the video, share it, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I hope that is really blessing you. And I really hope that this is adding a little bit of context to your career path right now. If you're like a student who's in your third year, your second year, or you're about to go into uni and you're just like, I don't know what I want to do, or I'm about to graduate, I don't know what I want to go in, just know that you still have time to figure it out, but you need to make a plan. Don't let life happen to you. Make a plan so that you can pivot if life changes, but you have to have a plan. The next one is just in your 20s, honestly, I know it sounds boring, but just try to develop some level of self-discipline and consistency, because that is going to help you. I promise you. It's so easy to get swayed by, the wind blowing from other people's lives and picking you up. And by that, I mean in your 20s, in my 20s, I wish I had a little more self-discipline to do the things that I wanted to do, because that will help you to avoid things like peer pressure. And that ultimately affects your success, right? Success in your career doesn't come from working hard once in a while. It doesn't come from studying every now and then. Like the first point that talked about learning skills, success in your career comes from being consistent over long periods of time, cultivating habits that make you more productive and reliable, and just being able to stay consistent in those habits. And if you want to make a switch, but be consistent in what you choose to do next. The next one is just learning to say no. Learning to say no. Learning to say no. This is very close to what I just talked about when I talked about being consistent in your own self-discipline. In your 20s, if you learn to say no, it's gonna save you a whole lot of grief. There's a lot of people out there who have found themselves in problems, in trouble that they did not sign up for. They just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And also, even career-wise, saying yes to every single job doesn't make you successful or ambitious. You have to make sure that when you're saying yes, it's in line with what you want to do. It's tempting to say yes to every single thing in fear of missing out, in fear of missed opportunities. However, when you learn to say no to tasks in minute ways, in minor situations, when you learn to say no to tasks, to projects, to opportunities that don't align with your long-term goals, it frees up the time for what you truly want to do, what truly matters to you. And to be honest, it's a skill that you're going to need to learn regardless of what field you get into, is saying no, because every single stage in life is going to test your boundaries. And if you're able to practice that early on, I guarantee you you're gonna benefit from it. And I'm just gonna zoom in right now. For my ladies, this is the time to learn how to say no, because the older you get, for some reason, for women, it's a little bit harder to say no. Some people don't have that issue, but that ain't me. I struggle with people pleasing for a very long time. The next one is find mentors, seek mentorship and guidance. Find mentors who have been where you want to go, because their guidance can help you avoid like common pitfalls and give you valuable insights that you won't find in textbooks, you won't find online, you won't find in courses. And with this particular topic, I just want to add here that a lot of times we're looking for a special mentor, somebody who we can identify, but you also have mentors around you, right? Somebody who is an advocate for the elders, okay? And by what I mean by advocate, I should make a series online called Advocate for the Elders. What do I mean by that? I mean that our elders, our family, they've all been to all the places that we're trying to go. They've seen all the things that we're trying to see. A lot of them actually, not all. But I think sometimes we bypass the gems around us and we're always looking for the next person that we can try to get advice from, who's going to respond better, who has like, better advice for us. But the truth is, our elders have a lot of advice for us, and we should take advantage of our elders, and that's just something that I strongly stand for. The next one is you need to prioritize learning and self-development on your own. Development in your 20s is not the same as when you're older. The older you get, the less time you have to actually invest in self-development. It's just a fact. Your 20s are like the perfect time to invest in yourself, to read books, to take courses just because, to attend free workshops online and in person, to constantly seek to improve your knowledge and your skills. This habit of feeling like learning all the time will serve you throughout your career. As a matter of fact, I did another video on, I'm gonna link it right here or right here. I will link it right here. I did another video on being a student for life for as long as you can and having a lifelong kind of learning attitude about life. So I'm gonna link it right here. Make sure you watch that video. It will kind of open your mind and blow your mind about how changing your mentality can change your life. These pieces of advice can help you kind of navigate the uncertainty of your 20s. Trust me, sometimes you don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes you don't have to have everything figured out, but just making a few changes here and there. You can start by actually following this list that I've shared in this video. Just make a few changes here and there, and all of a sudden your life starts to take shape, and all of a sudden you start to feel like things are coming together, and there is a reason, there is direction, there is a bit of a rhythm to your life. And if you're in your 20s and you're feeling lost, or if you're feeling lost and you're listening to this video, I just want to encourage you. I heard this quote it's a quote by Maya Angelou that I just read recently, and it says, "Every storm runs out of rain." Every storm runs out of rain. It really hit me because if you've ever seen the visual of a storm or a hurricane, whether it's on TV or in person, you can see how heavy and destructive they are, and it almost looks like it's not going to come to an end. But the more you think about it, as the days go, all of a sudden everything calms down, everything comes to a standstill. And in our personal lives, I feel like storms come, they wage war on our emotions, on our mental state, on the things we have going on our plans. We make plans and God laughs, but eventually the storm calms down, everything stabilizes. If you're in the storm right now, I just need you to remember that storm is going to run out of rain. It won't have enough rain to spin around and cause destruction eventually. So hang in there if you're in your 20s and you're feeling lost, and just know that things are going to get better. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.